Welcome to another episode of Bargain Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at Tinkerbell and the Great Fairy Rescue. And I have to admit, I'm probably feeling a bit nicer towards this film than I should, just because it's a breakaway from A Christmas Carol. I mean, after watching, 4 different variations of that film, just about anything would be a nice break from that. I can only watch a film about ghosts so many times before getting tired of seeing them. And the way most of them were depicted ranged from, average at best to not particularly impressive and mediocre. So, even a mediocre film is a nice break, as long as it doesn't involve that story. On the other hand, it does involve fairies, the most hated of all enemies in gaming. After all, even when they're on your side, they're super annoying. Look! Listen! Gosh darn. I heard that line so many times while playing that game over the years, I think I've had nightmares about it, where you just can't make it stop. It's just like, no, must escape from fairies. They make all of your worst nightmares come true. Like, even when you get to Majora's Mask, the fairies are still annoying. You almost wish you could just reach up and smack them on the back of the head, despite them being largely glowing lights. Just, like, stop. So yeah, we have a film about the enemies of all mankind. Or at least gamer kind. At any rate, I guess I can understand why some people feel the film has rather problematic themes. Because if you're not thinking about the film too much, it definitely feels like it has a anti-science spin going for it, where it's magic versus science, and magic's definitely gonna win because this is a film about fairies, okay? But yeah, I can definitely see why people would feel that's somewhat problematic if you think girls should be encouraged from a rather young age to get involved in, STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. After all, a film that's encouraging them to believe in magical fairies that control everything definitely is no way to probably encourage them to get involved in those kinds of fields. Even though we have Lizzie, the young girl on the front cover here, spend a good chunk of the film, asking Tinkerbell questions to try and understand and study fairies and how they interact with the world.
Oh, I should start from the beginning. Where do fairies come from? I mean, where were you born?
So we're trying to do scientific research into fairies in a film that, tells us we shouldn't, think about it, just believe. That's a bit of a rough quote there, so I guess I'll throw in the verbatim version from the film itself.
You don't have to understand. You just have to believe.
And I guess we should throw in this bit about the seasons as well.
I had no idea fairies were responsible for changing the seasons. I thought it had something to do with the Earth's axis as it rotated around the sun.
That's what we wanted you to think.
So yeah, this film definitely preaches New Earth or Young Earth fairyism, I guess, something like that. So yeah, apparently according to this movie, fairies are our real gods. Damn it. Now they're definitely gonna haunt me in my dreams about, telling me to look and listen to them about every little detail on how to fight an enemy. Ugh, take it away. But yeah, I can definitely see why some might get upset about that. Outside of that, the film definitely feels a bit padded and follows a lot of the usual cliches, with a bumbling fat fairy, a nerdy fairy that, comes up with ideas and builds devices. You got all the other fairy cliches with them being able to, control plants or manipulate or talk with animals, all that stuff, so, yeah. Of course, most of the fairies outside Tinkerbell are sort of pushed to the side for, as side characters, so the few scenes they do get tend to feel like cutaways from the actual main story, which is all about Tinkerbell always trying to help Lizzie, bond with her father, because they've grown really distant because her father's caught up, with his work, as a scientist who studies the real world, as we say, with, studying rocks and minerals and insects. And he has quite the extensive collection of butterflies, which is probably horrifying if you're a fairy, because you're gonna be worried about, being pinned and put into a little tiny case to die horribly. Or being killed, then pinned to inside of a case, but regardless of which order it goes in, it's horrifying, I'm sure. After all, you definitely come across as a human that hates flying insects for some reason. Ugh. But yeah, I'd argue the film's largely just, childish and harmless, and will probably appeal to a rather young demographic, but for older kids and stuff, it's probably going to be a pretty boring pass, because there's just not enough happening for the most part. There's not enough moments that feel like they're tense or full of drama. So, yeah. Rather, mediocre film overall, both in its look and its storytelling. And its messaging / themes could be argued to be problematic by some, and as others, something you just shouldn't think about and just move on. After all, the main theme of the film has to be about, the power of friendship and how friends can overcome anything. Hopefully next week I'll pick a less controversial film, one that doesn't involve, fairies that tell me to look and listen.